Everybody thinks they're the good guy. The villain thinks he's justified. The cruel person thinks that they were just being honest. The selfish person thinks that they were finally choosing themselves. So if everybody has an explanation for their actions and can defend them no matter what and still sleep at night, then what does it actually mean to be good? This question is already difficult inside the minds of billions of different people, carrying different wounds, different beliefs, different fears and cultures, different stories about what makes them right. And the internet has turned our culture into a massive, high-speed intersection where entirely contradictory worldviews crash into each other every single day. Conservatism clashes with liberalism, manosphere with feminism, socialists with the capitalists, and every side believes they're the ones defending reality from everyone else's delusion. We always disagree, but social media has dragged those contradictions into the spotlight and made them impossible to ignore. So the question becomes even bigger. How do you actually become good? Because the bare minimum of not being a disruptive force in society does not teach you how to be a balancing force. Religious and philosophical texts have thousands of pages guiding people in that direction, but there is so much noise in between traditions, cultures, and interpretations and arguments that it becomes difficult to find the universal points we can all actually agree on. What follows isn't a checklist of rules telling you how to behave. This is a framework for how to be. Think of these 10 principles as the internal architecture of your character, so your intuitive, effortless goodness can naturally surface. Presence. You cannot live by your values if you are asleep when the test arrives. Most of us live like emotional vending machines. Someone presses the right button, and out comes anger, defensiveness, or jealousy. We are so heavily programmed by our past that a visual on a screen or a comment from a stranger will make our bodies react before our conscious mind even gets to make a choice. So to be present is to listen. It is to watch your thoughts and your emotions, and with the understanding that you are not your thoughts or emotions. You are the awareness behind them. Presence creates a 1-second gap between what happens to you and what you decide to do next. It is waking up from autopilot. If someone disrespects you, presence lets you respond with power instead of exploding because your pride was tested. That 1 second of awareness can save you from years of consequences. Truth. A comfortable lie is just a debt that you will eventually have to pay to reality. Truth has no bias. It is pure data. But we only see the picture we construct in our minds to avoid dealing with what makes us uncomfortable. We pretend a toxic relationship is working because admitting the truth would force us to flip our lives upside down. To live in truth, you must separate what actually happened from the meaning you placed on it. If someone rejects you, that is pure data, just the event. Telling yourself you are worthless is the story. Truth just is. And we can clearly see it when we don't get caught up on how things make us feel. Finding the truth means pausing your ego, dropping the story, and dealing with reality without the story we make up in our minds. We do this unknowingly to protect our identity and all its beliefs, to keep us safe from discomfort, but we limit our capacity to learn and grow when we spend energy on holding up half-truths. Living with clarity is far more clearer and liberating than carrying around the limiting heaviness of comfortable lies. Ownership. It may not be your fault, but the responsibility of what you do next belongs entirely to you. Life is deeply unfair. People will hurt you, and random tragedies will shift your life around when you least expect it. To have ownership is not to deny that pain. Pain is normal, and living through it is a part of life. But to have ownership over your life is to ask, okay, this happened. Now what am I going to do about it? Blame feels good because it points a finger and makes someone or something else the reason you are stuck. But staying in blame leaves your power in the world's hands. Ownership pulls that power back. It is a discipline to pick up the pieces and do the work when you are tired, when you're defeated, when everything isn't going your way and people keep getting in your way. To have ownership is to accept there are things that are outside your control, and how you react to situations is how you continue to own your life and your direction in it. Purpose. If you do not give your energy a direction, the world will gladly spend it for you. A person without purpose is incredibly easy to pull into modern traps that make life feel busy but entirely empty. Doom scrolling, getting high, endlessly chasing validation. Purpose is fulfillment in life. To do things for yourself that continue to help you grow and enjoy yourself in the moment. It is doing for the sake of doing. And by purpose, I don't mean you must have some grand destiny written in the stars that you're going to be fulfilling. It could be building a business, making art, raising a child, or writing poetry, playing in the bowling league, or keeping up with your book club. It means diving into something and evolving through it. Without growth, we stagnate and we lose our drive. Choosing to grow creates intrinsic fulfillment, the kind of lasting pride that outlives a fleeting night at a bar. It becomes a clean, sustainable fuel that reshapes how you carry yourself. Without that meaningful direction, you become easier to hijack by impulse, resentment, addiction, attention, and whatever the world is selling that day. Find a purpose that aligns with who you are. Happiness is given by the work, and the path you forge is the meaning. Empathy. You don't have to agree with someone else's conclusions to be compassionate toward the path that brought them there. There are billions of people on this planet, all shaped by entirely different families, cultures, traumas, and fears. Expecting everybody to think exactly like you do is a fundamental misunderstanding of humanity. People act from the world as they understand it. If you were born in their exact body, in their environment, you would likely see the world through their lens too. To practice empathy is to accept that much of who we are and how we behave is a reaction to circumstances outside our control. We all start out with a natural ignorance, capable of only seeing the angle of the world we were handed. None of us chose when we were born, the names we were given, or the deck of cards we were dealt. Existing here is tough, and everyone is navigating an individual journey filled with quiet battles no one else will ever fully understand. Empathy is simply recognizing that truth. It is mutual respect by default. It's the classic golden rule with a modern twist. Treating others as you would want to be treated if you were actually walking in their shoes. Empathy allows you to look past a person's surface defense mechanisms to see the fear or the trauma driving their words. It gives you the clarity needed to stop taking people's projections personally. Healthy empathy also operates with boundaries. Boundaries dictate what you will tolerate in your space. You can have deep compassion for the storm raging inside of somebody else, while still firmly closing the door to protect your own house. You can understand why they hurt and be respectful while making it absolutely clear that they are not allowed to hurt you. Care. Morality becomes physical the moment you decide to leave a space slightly better than you found it. A lot of people want to be seen as good, but they don't want to be inconvenienced by goodness. Care is where morality enters your hands. It is doing the actual work. It's cleaning up a mess without announcing it. It's checking in on a friend and listening without just waiting for your turn to speak. Care is noticing the person everyone else overlooks. It's lowering your voice when people are trying to rest. It's holding the door. It's cleaning the kitchen even when the mess was not yours. The world becomes uglier when everyone says, "It's not my problem." As Alan Watts once famously remarked, you grew out of this world the way a fruit grows from a tree. You're entirely connected to your environment. When you invest positive energy into your surroundings, you actively construct a more supportive and safe reality for yourself. Strengths. Goodness without the spine to enforce a boundary is just an invitation to be exploited. Goodness without strength doesn't survive very long. People will test your boundaries, and fear will test your principles. If you want to uphold your principles, you will have to say no to people and even confront them when they press against your boundaries. If you cannot stand firm, your values will crumble the second they are tested. The conversations you avoid don't disappear. They stack up in the corner of a room and turn into heavy, toxic resentment. Strength is being able to tell someone you love them while firmly stating you will not allow them to treat you poorly. Real strength is also not about acting tough or reacting aggressively. Real strength knows the difference between a person who genuinely needs compassion and someone who is just using your compassion as an opening to take advantage of you. The strength to bend your will to do the right thing is what keeps your character in balance. To know when to soften, when to walk away, and when you have to become a wall. Integrity. Your principles only become real at the exact moment it costs you something to uphold them. Everyone has values when those values are convenient. They believe in honesty right up until honesty makes them look bad, or in loyalty until it requires real sacrifice. Integrity is the exact point where your character gets tested. It begins when the truth might embarrass you or when doing the right thing costs you an advantage. The true measure of our character is found in our commitment to these principles when we reach our breaking point. And it means no hypocrisy. You don't demand standards from others that you refuse to live by yourself. You cannot be the architect of the moral high ground while refusing to actually stand on it. Like everyone else, you will very likely fail to uphold your values at times. Having integrity means you acknowledge such failures and take accountability for them. Doing what you can to correct a wrong is what keeps your moral structure in place. Humility. Humility is knowing you matter deeply without thinking the universe revolves around you. You matter. Your absence would leave a real, painful void in the lives of the people who care for you. Humility asks you to hold that truth while remembering you are still just one person on a rock spinning through trillions of galaxies. The moment you think you have nothing left to learn, you close your mind. Life sends wisdom through the most unexpected messengers, and humility is having the capacity to say the 4 words that could save the world from half its conflicts. I might be wrong. Grace. Grace is the ability to move through life's transitions without constantly fighting what already is. Life has a rhythm. Things rise, fall, change, break, heal, and disappear. Pain is inevitable when you get hurt, but suffering is what happens when your mind spends months arguing with the fact that it happened. You cannot delete reality. Grace is accepting the pain, moving through the transition, and keeping your heart open so you don't become bitter or cruel. And if you are someone who constantly cares for others, grace is realizing you cannot pour from an empty cup. Sometimes giving yourself the permission to rest is the most graceful thing that you can do. These 10 principles are the bones of your character. One bone alone doesn't make a body, but together they give your life structure. To survive the real world, these traits must keep each other in check. Empathy without strength turns you into a doormat. But strength without a drop of empathy makes you a bully. Absolute ownership without grace will cause you to burn out. But endless grace without responsibility makes you passive. Truth requires care. Otherwise, it is just a weapon. But care needs truth, or else it devolves into a warm lie that lets a wound rot. Purpose without presence turns life into a blind sprint. But presence without purpose leaves you wide awake, going nowhere. And integrity without humility turns your morals into arrogance. But humility without integrity makes you stand for nothing. The balance is the whole point. Alignment is the art of keeping all these fractured parts of yourself moving in the exact same direction. You cannot control everything. You cannot force the world to be kind. And you cannot stop painful things from happening. But you can control your character. Holding your ground when the world invites you to lower your standards is where your real power lies. So the ultimate measure of your virtue is simple. Do people feel safer, clearer, more respected, and more alive because you walked into the room? If the answer is yes, then you are breaking the cycle of human misery instead of participating in it. And maybe that is what goodness has always been, leaving people, places, and moments more whole than you found them.